What's going on, everybody? Taylor here. Today I want to talk to you about online privacy and how it could affect you and with the information that you post online and social media. And the reason for this is because as creators, we're posting numerous things online, and some of it could be affecting us that we don't even realize based off of small things that could be in the background or small things about our social media profiles that we just think is normal to have, but may in fact be giving information out there to people that we don't want them to have our information, right? So with that, let's talk about some of the information and some of the stuff that we've been posting. First thing would be personal information. You'd be surprised at how much personal information we give online and we don't even realize it. For instance, a lot of creators have social branding or personal branding, right? Where they use their first and last name. But did you know that all someone needs is a first and last name and address just to find out where you live? That's mind-boggling to me, right? But I get it, as personal branding goes, sometimes you have to take risks, which is why people use their first and last name versus using a nickname per se. Something else that you want to be careful about would be email address, phone number, or anything of that nature that could lead to somebody being able to take that information and doing password recoveries or finding information about, like I said, where you live, because even if you don't have your address, they can still find that information just by looking at stuff that, like I said, email address, school colors, mascot colors, as far as what school you went to, and they can look up that school and then also look up anybody within that area that goes by your full first and last name. Another issue too is that social media doesn't really, most of the social media platforms don't really tell you much of what they're actually publicizing to ad agencies or to the information to the world that would actually surprisingly shock you. For instance, unless you go into your settings on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, Instagram, a lot of your basic information that you publish to create your account is published to the world before you can even have a say. You have to go into the settings and change that so that it's not shown as publicly available. Something else to be cognitive of whenever you're posting is photos and videos. When it comes to information, that's one of the easiest ways to collect so much information without anything being said. Take, for instance, a photo that you take outside of your own house. If your house number is in it, if anybody has any way of telling what house number your next door neighbor is, they could easily go into Google Maps, pull up that information, and be able to tell exactly where you live. Something else to keep in mind too is, like I said in a previous example, let's say you're going to a friend's or your family member's soccer game or football game, and you show a picture of your cousin or your brother or your sister in their uniform, their school uniform. Someone can easily look up that school information, then look up your information as far as your first and last name, and be able to go and find exactly where you live. And they can then use that information along with other personal information that's online in order to open up lines of credit or open up any kind of other social media accounts like fake accounts, or even reset your password and gain access to your account. When it comes to location, a lot of people like to post their location when they take their photo or their video or whenever they make their post. The problem with this is it announces to the world exactly where you are in that time that you made that post. So let's say you're out with a bunch of friends and you post something, but you also share your location, but then later you post something else further down the line and then it's in a different location, yes, but it begins to leave a trail where somebody, if you have, let's say, a stalker or somebody that just wants to track you down, they can follow that trail until they get to you, whether it's at the location you're at or all the way back to your home or to your friend's house, where they can then at that point follow you from there. Pretty crazy, right? But a lot of times people don't think about this kind of stuff, myself included. And so I wanted to make sure I give all this information out so that way I can make you aware and to help you in the future for any time that you're posting photos and videos. So I want to give some tips on how you can protect yourself with social media and online privacy. The first tip would be to get to know your social media's privacy settings. social media profiles and accounts on the different platforms don't always make it easy to get to those settings. You actually have to dig for Facebook and click and click and click all over this place in the settings menu in order just to get to the privacy settings. I think they do this to make it harder for you to be able to protect your own personal privacy, so that way they can continue to sell that information to the ad agencies out there without having to worry about anything being changed. Oftentimes too, especially with Facebook, I have noticed is every time they change a terms of service or a policy update, your entire privacy settings get reset completely back to normal, back to the way they were when you first created your account, which means you have to go back and change all that information again every time there's a change. So anytime there's a setting change or anytime there's a new terms of agreement or terms of anything that is updated, make sure you go back and change your settings, because otherwise your information is just back out there in the open again. When it comes to location, if you have to post a location, let's say for your social media brand or anything like that, I think it would be okay to post the city, but not post an exact location as to where the photo itself was taken. Because you don't want someone to just show up while you're in the middle of your fashion shoot or any kind of video shoot or portrait shoot unannounced, just by the fact that they were able to look at your location and just show up. So that's something that I have personally always done, is turn off auto location in my phone, as well as make sure all my social media settings are set to that they don't post my location anytime I post a photo. When it comes to posting photos and videos, make sure you look at your actual photos and your videos before you post them online. I would hate for you to post something that gives any kind of personal information. You could have a document sitting in the background that has all your bank information, or you could have something sitting anywhere in your location that provides an address or provides any kind of information about your personal life that you wouldn't want getting out to your followers or your brand, if it's something that you absolutely don't want to share with your followers or your brand. So you have to make sure to look thorough when you're editing your photos or your video, that you don't have anything in there that could potentially leak out to the world that would otherwise be embarrassing or be something that would get you in trouble down the line in terms of online privacy or anything of that nature. So with that being said, I hope these tips were helpful. I hope this information was helpful, and I hope to see you guys in my next video that I post, which will begin our journey through learning filmmaking, learning photography, and everything that I have gone through, my steps and techniques that I have learned throughout my couple years of trying to learn. So if you liked this information, make sure you hit that like button. I hope you subscribe so we can follow each other through the future of this channel. And until then, see you next time.